Hello out there. It's me, Laura, just jumping on to talk for a little bit. I'm at home, and so you might hear dogs bark and children scream, possibly. So just depends. I wanted to come on really quick and talk about something that's been on my heart to talk about, and I finally found the time to do it. In Mario's little spot here, so hopefully it's not too echoey. But I wanted to talk about Halloween tomorrow. So this is a very controversial topic for some. It may be in your household or maybe it's not. It might be a controversial issue at different churches, which I know that it is for some. And before I start, anything I say is just what I feel in my heart and what I feel convicted of in my own life. And so the reason this came up was obviously Halloween's tomorrow, right? And I was going through some paperwork, and I was also just finding different things as I was looking for some bill that I had, and I couldn't find it. So I hurried up and was trying to look, and all of a sudden I come across all these like orange pamphlets, and I was like, what is that? And it was an old pamphlet from a church that I used to go to, which was Laurel Church, and it was called Who's Tricking Who? And so I was like, oh, I remember that pamphlet, and I don't know why I had 4 or 5 copies. I don't know if I collected them through the years or what, but so I had a copy, and I was like, oh, I'm always happy to think about Laurel Church, this because they were so good to me, and I found the Lord there. That pamphlet was about Halloween, and for me, I always find that Halloween is a controversial topic. Mostly because I might have a different opinion than other people, and that's okay. Hey, I'm all about people having different opinions. That's how this world runs, right? And as Christians, whether you're, to be a Christian, you're following Christ, right? So you're Catholic, Baptist, non-denominational Christian, Lutheran, Methodist, and on, right? And so in the Christian world, when it comes to Halloween, sometimes it is a topic where, it kind of flares people up because some people celebrate it and some people don't. And then some people ignore it and they're just kind of like, maybe it'll just pass me by. So I guess I wanted to come on and just share with you a little bit, I guess somewhat of a testimony, but more just my story, and if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's okay. You're free to leave a comment. I probably won't answer. And even if you agree with me, I probably won't answer. I don't ever come on Facebook to like debate anybody or anything like that. Anyway, so when I was little, I celebrated Halloween. I loved it. My mom decorated for Halloween like it was Christmas. Like if you went into our living room, it was like everything was orange and black. She had the most cutest holiday, like those old 1970 stick-ons on the wall of witches and ghosts and pumpkin and some really cute ones and skeletons and vampires, but everything was really cutesy and some things were a little scary, right? And so we celebrated. And through the years, I remember going to my first haunted house and being really scared. We watched scary movies at home because my mom loved a good scary movie, and I would always sit there watching a scary movie like this or like this because I couldn't stand to hear it either. So sometimes I would close my eyes and cover my ears. I was a big baby. Anyway, but because I was immersed in that, I grew up watching scary movies. So then I watched them on my own, went to haunted houses on my own. When I met up with friends, we went to haunted houses and we watched scary movies during Halloween, not all year. We weren't crazy. We weren't fanatics. And then at some point, I remember someone saying like, hey, have you ever played with a Ouija board? And I was like, what is that, right? And so I got introduced to that. And even though I was really scared, I was just all for it. I was like, okay, and so, I did all that. It was great. When Angelica and Alyssa were younger, I also, I'm more Angelica, more my older one, we also went trick-or-treating, but right around, probably maybe 2002, started getting really convicted about celebrating Halloween. And as I was going to church, I learned more and more about a lot of topics, a lot of things. But the one thing that I constantly felt ministered to, because it was such a big issue in my life, was fear. I grew up fearful. I'm not even talking about the scary movies or Halloween. I'm just talking about I grew up fearful. I felt very scared of different things. I was kind of a scaredy cat, right? But yet I did all those things because I was with my friends and we were having fun, right? So I started feeling convicted, and I felt like, you know what? For me, I felt like Halloween promoted a lot of fear. And in my world, I didn't need any more fear. I had so much that it caused me to feel overwhelmed or anxious or anxiety ridden, and it was about, lots of different things. And so for me, it felt like, why am I adding to that? Why am I adding on to the fear? And why would I want my children to participate in something that causes them fear? One of the first scriptures I learned was God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I needed that. That was for me. And I claimed that that was for my children as well. And somewhere along the line, I just, throughout celebrating Halloween altogether, probably by the time Angelica was probably like 5, maybe 5, we were done. And I did not, I didn't poo-poo on anybody's Halloween if people told me like, hey, I celebrate Halloween. And I wasn't like, oh, you're so evil. It's not like that. And also, sorry, I was waving a notification away. And even to this day, when my friends and family celebrate Halloween, I am never out to look at them and give them some weird judgmental look. It is not my job to make people believe the way that I believe, but it is my job to get fear out of my life and instead dive into the faith that the one true living God gave me. And I will do so for my children as well. And I hope that they do for their children as well. And I break every curse upon my head that I ever invited in to my life, doing the things that I did. And I break every curse upon my children, every generational curse and every curse in general. Am I here to tell you that if you celebrate Halloween, you're not a Christian? Am I here to say if you don't celebrate Halloween, then you're not good enough? Nope, not here at all. I bet you that there are things that I do in my life that you don't do in your life, that you would look at me and say, you still do that? I've had people say, you still celebrate Christmas? Yeah, I love Christmas. For me, at that time, we're celebrating Christ. We're celebrating the birth of Jesus. And then I've had people say, well, he wasn't born really on that day. I'm still celebrating. I love Jesus. I'm still going to celebrate Easter and, like other holidays. But for me and my house, I want to serve the Lord. And for me, that means for me to get the fear out of my life. Now, maybe fear is not your problem. Maybe you don't feel fear. Maybe you just feel like it's okay. Well, you keep doing you. I'm going to keep doing me. But I wanted to come on here and I just wanted to be supportive of anybody who maybe feels the way I did when I first stopped celebrating Halloween, or in smaller circles today when I hear people talk about Halloween. I'm waiting for sometimes when people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're doing nothing. Or whatever. And so I just want to be supportive of you if you feel like you're the only one. You're not the only one. There's lots of people who don't celebrate Halloween, and there's lots of people who do celebrate Halloween. wherever and however the Lord convicts you. You do what the Lord tells you to do. You don't do what I tell you to do. You don't do what anybody tells you to do. You do what the Lord tells you to do. We seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will come after. Now, if I felt that, if I felt like I was offending anybody, which I don't think I am, but if I am, please don't be offended. I am just wanting to come on here and just share my truth with you and share the love of Christ with you. And I didn't give up Halloween, right away. It took me a while to do it, but I still did it because for me, it was the right thing. I need peace in my life. I don't need extra fear. And actually there's lots of scriptures out there to back up in case you're interested. I could send you a few if you want. And then even then, what if you take those scriptures differently than I do? Do what's right for you and your family. Okay, so that's all I wanted to come on and say. All right, well then I will talk to you guys another time. I hope that you guys are all having a lovely, Thursday, and I hope you have a great day tomorrow.